Beyond 3D. Welcome, Matt.
Welcome, Clint, to this edition of Beyond 3D.
And welcome to our listeners all around the world.
Literally. It's been an interesting couple of weeks lately. We've, there's so much going on in the world right now that it's very difficult to just concentrate on one thing, but we're going to just give you a brief synopsis of what we feel is going on worldwide. And get some opinions. What we want to do is we want all of our listeners out there to start writing us and contacting us via Twitter, which we will be setting up, via Facebook, and all different kinds of ways, even on the RWPFM radio station site, where you can leave emails, because we want your ideas, especially if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. We want to know what you guys want to hear about. If you have any guest ideas, we want to know about them. We're out there trying to do the best we can, trying to really get great interviews for you and do things that will really give you decent information. We want you to help us do that for you by just suggesting different topics and different artists or different researchers or scientists that you would like us to interview, and we will do our best to endeavor to get those people on Beyond 3D.
And the good thing is, Matt, we have already hunted some of these people down, and we have some interviews ready in the can, and we're just waiting for the right time to pull those out.
Exactly. And that will come when it's supposed to, in good time. Clint, this week and in the past couple of weeks, let's look at it for what it is. There's so much stuff going on in the world right now. If you had to pick one topic, what would it be?
CERN.
What?
CERN.
CERN? Again?
I know. I could have gone Paris. I could have gone economics.
We don't want to go Paris.
I did say I could have.
Yeah, you could have.
We don't
want that.
No.
CERN. Okay, now wait a minute. CERN. Very interesting. What have you heard lately, Clint? Because if you brought it up, there's a reason.
I keep getting on my Facebook page different edit packs in regards to CERN, time portals, alternate realities, and I'm seeing a lot of this through the alternate media as well. Now, I don't know where this narrative is being driven from, whether or not it's information that's coming out or it's internet trolls. I dare say things like that, because there are people out there that's what they like to do, is to promote false information. I don't know exactly which way things are going at this point in time, but there's a lot of information out there. Like I said, there's lots of things that are happening in the alternate media at the moment, and a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds I've seen at the moment are all talking about CERN, and just off the cuff, and a lot of information coming through about CERN opening time portals or alternate dimensions. And like I said, I don't know where this narrative is coming from, whether or not it's the alternate media reporting on this, or whether it's internet trolls, or what's your opinion, Matt?
Yeah, what you said is interesting, and it's pertinent right now, because okay, you're hearing things about CERN, but in general, all of a sudden, and even in mainstream media, what we're now getting is we're getting information on water on Mars, we're getting information on atmospheres around Pluto, we're getting information on exoplanets. All of this stuff is now becoming mainstream, as if we're being prepared for some announcement in the near future about something is going to happen. What that something is, I have no idea.
Hang on, Matt, I've got to stop for a sec. Everything you just spoke about, it's a giant. Each one of those topics is a giant Pandora's box all on its own.
Yep.
And we both know that.
Yep.
Now, I'm leaning also towards the fact that all this information that's coming out, like water on Pick a Planet.
Yeah, basically.
Pick a planet. Water's been found here. Wasn't there information the other week as well about new rocket propulsion system that came out? Talk about that very quickly.
I'm trying to remember which one, because there was a couple of them. They got into Elon Musk and SpaceX and what they were doing, and the fact that they actually had some testing that was done where they could actually land rocket-type vehicles on a vertical.
Okay.
Literally on a carrier from space and things like that.
Kind of like a jump jet Harrier?
Kind of like, in that kind of a situation. And literally, when you think about the scope of, let's say, the Pacific Ocean, how you can get something to come in from space, hover over basically an aircraft carrier and actually land and not have to worry about dropping it in the water and recovering it and all that kind of stuff, that's very, very important. But you're hearing it in certain circles. In other circles, you're not hearing this. Now, there are a couple of different propulsion systems that are talking about. Ion drives has been in the mainstream media lately. They are talking about different ways that instead of it taking 3 months to get to Mars, they might be able to do it in maybe 30 days, cut the time by a third. We're starting to hear about, what's the other one? The train systems, in other words, magnetics and things like that, where we can all of a sudden go from, let's say, Melbourne to Sydney in 30 minutes or 60 minutes as opposed to 8 hours driving time and things like that. A lot of new propulsion systems are out there.
Okay, so we're looking at the possibility of water on other planets. We're looking at the possibility of life on other planets. We're looking at the possibility of the release of new technologies at the moment. All these things at this point in time, things that we were always told to speculate, we haven't had proof yet, we're still researching, we don't have the science just yet. All of a sudden, these important scientific discoveries and the ways in which they're going to be used have all come out and been announced at this point in time, right when I'm also watching and seeing all this information about CERN coming out with these possibilities of opening these gateways. I'm finding that the scientific community is releasing a lot of information that's been suppressed for a long time. I don't find all this information about water on these other planets. They've known about this for
a long time.
A long time. We all know this. We all know this. So I don't find it to be a coincidence that all this stuff is coming out at this point in time. Like I said, I do believe that we're being drip-fed to be prepared for something else, because the secrets and the silence and the evidence and the eyewitness accounts, all that information cannot be suppressed forever. No. It just can't. It's impossible.
There was actually some data that I was just hearing about, and they were talking about just arbitrarily UFO Mufon, not even outside of a Mufon. They were talking about how many sightings were happening, let's say, between 1999, 2000, and 2014. And in the United States alone, they're talking about at least 65,000 sightings. You were talking about, now, there is no possible way that each and every one of those is farcical, is made up in someone's head. It cannot possibly be.
Let's just say, hypothetically, and I'm going to go really, really raw here, let's say hypothetically, out of that 60,000, 30,000 were on the money. Okay, there's 30,000 people that all had an experience. What about the other percentage of those people that don't report it? Which statistically has to come hand in hand with that quantity of 30,000. So we are talking big, big, big numbers. So long story short, they can't keep things suppressed forever. They have to start drip feeding the community and the global community. And the only way to do that is with science and without a lack of panic and hysteria. So let's drip feed some scientific facts. Yes, we found life on other planets in the forms of water and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden across here, there's information leaking out from CERN about portals. But no, look, we've just discovered water on this planet. And, look, we might release new technology on hover magnetics and... I don't know. I'm tired.
And when you go through all of it, you do get tired, but it's very fascinating to me. They are really coming up with really good information right now, and what a lot of people that have been in, let's say in the loop, are basically saying is, so what else is new? We know this, it's just that we're looking for the formal announcement, and this has been said many times. If you are looking for a government to issue an edict stating, yes, life exists on other planets, forget about it, you will never, ever, ever get an edict like that from any government on planet Earth at this point in time, at least in this universe, or at least in this iteration of this universe. So forget all about that. What you basically have to understand is, yes, life exists elsewhere. It exists in many different forms. We do not have we do not have the sensory perception to be able to see everything that is out there. It's just like a dog can hear certain things at a certain pitch, whereas humans can't. It's simply as simple as that. But what we do know also is that if you learn to adjust your focus, whether it be through hearing or whether it be through sight, this physical plane that we exist in becomes a heck of a lot bigger, and there's a heck of a lot more to see. So ultimately what they're trying to do is scientifically bring people along so that way they can keep everything in line. But you have to remember one thing. Science is a control mechanism. If you go back to the time of Isaac Newton and you were to show him what was going on today, they would think you were committing heresy of some kind and they'd string you up. And we're just talking about string theory.
I was just thinking maybe of just pulling out an iPhone.
anything along those lines. So remember that, guys. If you, when you start hearing this stuff in mainstream, it's been around for a very, very long time. Just take the little verification for what it's worth from whatever entity you want to, and keep on moving, because even from a technological standpoint, the new iPhone that's out is at least 30 years old as far as we're concerned from a technical standpoint. In order for that thing to be in your hands, believe me, there's more.
Look, I dare not say that they've already got and completed iPhone 13 easily, and have the technology easily ready to go. But why go from the what is it, the 6
or 6S or whatever it is now?
Why go from that straight to the 13
when they lose all the money for the 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11? Exactly, and that's what it really comes down to. And the other thing, and this was a very important point. I was laughing with a friend of mine back in San Diego over the phone about this. Everybody talks about what the president says or what the prime minister says. These are executives. Executives basically run by committee. What they do is the president of the United States, in this case, is the manager over certain departments.
Can I just say, an executive also runs a business?
Yeah, it's a business. We all know that. Yeah, 1933, Federal Reserve, etc. What was it? Bankruptcy, etc., the Roosevelt era. But no, so right now, Barack Obama is the President of the United States. Therefore, he has a committee that works for him, and that is the Secretary of State. That is the Secretary...
Not the real president.
Yes, he is. He is there's an Energy Secretary, there's a Defense Secretary, and he's basically in charge of that. The money is controlled by the Congress. And with lobbyists, the Congress is controlled by the corporations. Plain and simple. You want to find out what's going on? Talk to Lockheed Skunk Works. Talk to Northrop Grumman. Talk to all of those kind of companies if you really want to find out what's going on in the world right now. That's where you'll find your answers.
And for those people that don't know, they are aviation specialists as well.
And I think the thing that's going on right now with things like SpaceX and Tesla and all this stuff that Mr. Musk is currently endeavoring to bring into the public view is he's causing a lot of commotion in certain circles because of what he's doing.
Cash is king.
Yeah.
So when you've got cash, you're king, and you can kick over the sandhills, and you can say, I want to know what's going on, and you can pay people to tell you, and you can project your businesses in the directions with the technology that is suppressed by the lack of money.
And you're right, cash is king, because what has happened is, through perseverance, SpaceX, which is very secretive about what they're doing out there, through his perseverance, he has now gotten the United States Defense Department to state that they will now allow SpaceX to use their launch vehicles for certain Defense Department contracts.
Yeah, now that's interesting also, because we're talking SpaceX being a privately run business. So if the Defense Department is saying there's certain projects we don't think you should be a part of, we don't think you should have clearance for. Hang on a second, I'm sorry, but are they not good enough to take you where you need to go? So what's so secretive about these other things that you're not letting the public find out, or privately run corporations for fear of leaking information?
It's interesting, and I really think that our listeners should really concentrate on what Elon Musk and what Tesla and what SpaceX are doing right now. And then you need to look at the other side of the spectrum and look at the defense departments around the world and see exactly what technologies are being put out there right now. Clint, you talked about CERN, and you talked about what they're doing. Now, what they have to do is they have to be able to monetize this stuff. They're drip feeding us because they're also at the same time trying to figure out how they can monetize it. And depending on where you look and read, you will find that if you could mine an asteroid, and a private company like SpaceX would be able to get technology to do something like that, and one asteroid is worth trillions of dollars as far as the material, the raw material that they contain.
Iron ore. What else, Matt?
Oh my God, name it. Run the spectrum, look at the periodic table and start picking out some elements.
Kryptonium.
You have everything. And the fact of the matter is, when you really think about this, now let's look. There are people on planet Earth who are always saying, what, save the whales, save this, save that, save the planet, save the trees, save. Everything, all of those elements, trace minerals, everything are out there floating around in space. Therefore,
they're not
you
unique.
really want to save this world? Very simple. You can replace everything that we're using here by being able to mine the stuff out there. People really need to recognize what they're trying to do is monetize all of this and do it in such a way where they can control it.
Okay, how does the physics of that work?
I'd have to think about that.
No, see,
you know
like,
me in physics.
I love this little joke I play with younger kids. I ask them a question: what's heavier, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers?
Interesting.
So if you brought a ton of an asteroid, or 100 million tons of asteroid, bit by bit by bit here, does it not push or add extra weight to the orbit of the Earth? Would it not?
Interesting.
It's the complete opposite of a ton of feathers or a ton of bricks, because a ton is a ton. Okay, so what's the estimated weight of this planet?
I don't know.
I'm just going to look it up.
I think we should. I think it's not light.
Okay, I had to stop and look that up then, Matt. So the mass of the Earth is 5.972 times 10.
Is there an E in there somewhere?
No, 10 to the power of the upper of 24 kilograms. So I don't even know how to calculate that. That's above my pay grade.
Yours and mine both.
So anyway, so whatever it is, if you then add an extra 100 million tons on top of that, surely, I don't know.
What's 100 million tons between friends?
What does losing the weight of a planet do to its orbit? If you split a moon, for example, in half, therefore it would obviously change its trajectory in space, not just because of the shape of it, but the blast or whichever way it put the energy pushed it. But I don't know, because you're splitting weight then on a planet. So if you're adding weight to a planet, would it therefore not slow it down? I would have imagined it would more likely slow it down in its orbit. So therefore you'd add an extra couple of days to your calendar.
Don't know. I'd have to think about that for a very long time. But right, that's adding tonnage or something like that. So every time we eat more and we add more to our weight, what are we doing? But where are we getting our food from? We're getting our food from the Earth that's already here.
But hang on a second, we take energy in, and we release energy
as well.
The Earth takes energy in.
It has to release energy as well.
It has to release it as well. So therefore, if we're bringing in that level of energy, therefore it has to release it somehow, doesn't it?
There will be a valve, some kind of relief valve, yeah.
Yeah, good luck, Yellowstone.
No. We don't want that to happen.
Of course not.
I don't need that kind of winter. By any stretch of the imagination.
I'm going to start stockpiling hair conditioner.
Hair conditioner?
Yeah, for all the ash.
No, what do we need? Food, booze. That's the old thing. People say hoard gold, hoard things like that. The one thing you want to save, actually, just go out and get yourself some rum, some scotch, some vodka, some gin. That's what you can barter with. Forget the other stuff.
So I've got to forget about Jack, John, and Jimmy.
No, you can bring them too. But, that's the thing. Anyway, we digress. As we start talking about what all this new information that is being given in mainstream media around science and the different scientific principles that are now being questioned through string theory and other things, what I'm starting to understand more and more is that, we are being prepared for something. And I don't think it's not going to come in the way most people think. It won't be grandiose. What's going to happen is things are just going to be accepted. And the government will go along with it. And then they will add their little tidbits in along the way. Oh, yes, we knew about this. And so, therefore, this is how we're going to handle this now.
That's called spin doctoring, isn't it?
That's what they do best.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to start to happen out there. So be prepared for the fact that, water on different planets, life on different planets. Be prepared for asteroid mining and the fact that would be able to save the planet. But in another school of thought, we need to actually get out into space because ultimately our sun will go red giant and we need to be somewhere else.
Not in any of our lifetime, but...
Well, if you believe in reincarnation, believe me, you'll be here.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, and while you're doing all that, keep an eye on CERN.
Okay, so if they open up a Stargate...
Hang on a second. Forget the Stargates for a second. We were talking about alternate energies just a minute ago.
Yeah, okay.
One thing I did want to touch on very quickly was the Tesla box that I'm seeing that are being installed now in people's houses. Any government that wants to make some money, it's a great way to do it. Embrace the concept of cleaner energy, and get behind it instead of these monitored Big Brother powered meter boxes that you've been responsible for accidentally burning people's houses down, allegedly.
The Tesla Powerwall. Interesting concept, especially if you own a car and you can basically charge it up and drive around basically for free as far as fuel car energy consumption is concerned, and you're actually adding energy to the grid at the same time. I think that's a fantastic way of doing things, and ultimately it is the way that there are countries, as we now know, like Nicaragua, Costa Rica, they're going totally
fossil fuel free.
Yeah, literally. So this is the way the world is going to go.
And can I just say, that is amazing, because we're not talking about countries that have elaborate access to science like we do and money like we do. We're talking about countries that you tell somebody that Nicaragua has gone fossil fuel and they've got the technology there to make it all happen. Well, have a good look at yourself, Western society. It's not like we don't and we can't. It's called being suppressed and not being able to. And when you're in a country like that and you don't have as many corporations putting pressure on your parliament, look what can be achieved.
Key words: corporations putting pressure on parliaments, corporations putting pressure on government.
Yeah.
And that is what literally is driving the so-called Western economy these days. And it's really a shame, because even as a kid, I thought we'd be so much far ahead of where we are right now when it came to typical, basic, life-sustaining services in the world.
Yes.
I really thought we'd be at a point where we didn't have to continually go through this exact same thing that we're going through right now on a daily basis. Maybe I just believe in the Jetsons and I like George Jetson's work week, who knows?
I'm sitting here as you were talking just before and I'm thinking to myself, I'm angry that I still don't have a flying car, and I guarantee you won't find a human being alive that didn't grow up in the 80s who isn't still angry that there are not flying cars.
They have one. You've seen that. Good luck with it. But there are a lot of things I thought we would have by now that we don't, but oh well. That is the way of the world.
Well, why release that technology when you can use it for your military?
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's really a shame. This happened, and I really noticed it full bore after the World Trade Center bombing, and the fact that every single person on planet Earth was behind the United States at that point. Not worrying about any kind of conspiracy of who did what and why.
Yep.
Everybody was behind the United States, and what was done? War.
Yep.
You could have looked at it from a different standpoint, and you could have had a peaceful transition, and you could have said, we're going to take the high ground. They didn't do it. They took the usual. They let history repeat itself, and they went once again to war. And this is the same thing I'm seeing now in the last things, not just France, but also in Lebanon, and the bombings that happened, and the shootings that happened in Kenya earlier in the year, with 150 people, young people at a university, were killed. If you decide it's going to be the eye for the eye situation, everything will continue as it is. We have got to switch up. We've got to look at this from a different standpoint. And I think right now Obama stating, no, I do not want to put soldiers on the ground in Syria based on this right now is, in my opinion, the right way to go.
Do you reckon he can walk into his lounge room at the White House and just turn his PlayStation on and guide a real-life drone over where he wants to go? just for fun?
No. And I know someone who flies a drone. No. He's in the wrong place for that.
Okay.
He's in the wrong place for that.
Okay.
And you heard what happened beforehand, right? The evisceration of one called Jihadi John. Yeah, interesting. How interesting things, how the world turns. It just drives me nuts, some of this stuff, but positively, let's look at it from the positive standpoint, Clint, because I think we really need to.
I'm just having fun when I say things like that.
Here, let's look at it from the positive standpoint. They did find water on other planets. They are looking at new technologies that will take us off planet and out into the universe, which is a positive thing. That's what we want. Don't we?
Absolutely we do.
You're looking kind of, huh?
No, I was just... no, look, it's all about money. At the end of the day, it's all about money. We're not going to get anything good happening for us unless the government can make money off it first. Okay? That's the realistic way of looking at it.
It is.
Now, Elon Musk is doing wonderful things. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not... He is a businessman.
Yes, he is.
He's a businessman, and he has every right to make money off it if he wants to. But he also, from what I know, or from what I believe, from what I've read and seen, he's also publicly coming out and saying he's doing this for the good, for the greater good.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, he has to cover his business losses, all the money he's invested into that technology, and again, he has every right to. It's when you then take that technology and you turn it and you use it for ulterior motives, for negative reasons, that's when it becomes an issue. Yeah. But
I agree with that.
Watch this space with Elon Musk. We'll see what happens.
I like the technology he's coming out with, but as you said, yeah, we do have to watch the space because there are people in the background that we don't know about that are looking at what is being done, and they're saying, okay, well, how can we either neutralize or come up with something that will allow us to control what is going on out there. And those control mechanisms that are put in place are the things that that stifle evolution, as far as I'm concerned. We really need to be careful along those lines. So anybody out there that's doing something positive, keep doing the positive thing, keep sending the positive energies out there, and just to recognize the fact that as you do something, and what is it? What's the saying? You know you're on the right path when people start complaining and talking about the fact that you're doing something. Keep going. Yeah, so that's one of the things that's going on right now. Other stuff, and I think more importantly, for some of us, December the 17th, 2015. Date ring a bell?
You said watch this space, and the only thing I'm really focused on space at the moment is inner space, so with CERN, but there's also outer space. So, are you talking Star Wars?
Yes, I am. 1977. The movie world was changed forever, as far as I'm concerned. And what's happening is it's starting again. They're continuing. Now, depending on who you talk to, George Lucas wrote this thing as a 9-part series. And this is basically just picking up where it left off, but we will see. What I will say about it is this: the hype on this is extreme, and J.J. Abrams will send you positive energy because I really hope it goes well.
I'll send him positive energy too, but I guarantee you, if this stinks, he will be known around the world as Jar Jar Abrams.
Nice.
Do you like that?
Nice. I love that. That's exactly what it will be. Holy moly, that's excellent.
Missa done bombad.
That's it. Based upon the previews that we've seen and the fact that we have not seen Luke Skywalker yet in any of these previews, I think it'll be an interesting little storyline. Hopefully they do it well. Hopefully they do it justice.
I hope if it's... I can't stop laughing. I hope if it stinks that everybody... I hope if it stinks that Jar Jar Binks figures on eBay get all snapped up for the next 12 months, and he just gets Jar Jar Binks figures posted to his home for the rest of his life.
Jar Jar Binks toilet paper.
No, look, goodness. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I know stuff about it that I shouldn't.
Do you?
Yes, I do. So if you want to do a spoiler, I can do a spoiler right now.
Let's do the spoiler, but we'll leave the spoiler in the podcast for people to listen to later. We won't put it out over the airwaves because that would be unfair.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go back to normal conversation.
Yes.
So back to our show, Matt.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
The meat and potatoes of it anyway. So you had CERN and all the different things that are going on out in the universe right now?
Yep.
So, how about...
Okay, can I just...
You may. I'm trying to think of something now.
You can think. Okay. So, at the end of the day, can you tell me who owns CERN? Do you know who owns CERN?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know either. And you know what? It's one of those things where every time I go to do it, to look it up, something stops me, and I don't know why. I'm looking at my iPhone right now. I'm not even reaching for it. I don't care to look it up.
So basically, we know where it is. We know what scientists work there. It's almost like it's a hub. So somebody's built
It's
something.
a hub. It's a hub. Keep going. Somebody's built a hub. Why, Matt? Who's chipped in all the money to build CERN? Does anybody know? Why am I not opening a newspaper and being told who owns CERN, how much it costs to build? It is the world's largest building. It is the world's largest building, and it's underground.
Underground, yes.
Over, I think it's under three different countries that passes through. So at the end of the day, someone's tipped a lot of money into this. Why? That's the question.
They know something we don't know.
They know something we don't know. Now, we're talking earlier about Elon Musk and his pursuit with SpaceX. He has a economic reason to do so, and a humanitarian reason to do so. Whoever owns CERN has not played their cards yet and shown what their reasons is behind it. We all accepted the fact that this is CERN. It just came onto the scene. CERN this, CERN that. We took CERN upon as being like NASA, a place that was full of experts that were trying to unlock the God particle. Okay, so it must be a scientific community somewhere that's doing this and making this happen. Yes, they're all scientists there, but who owns CERN? Who's paying the bills? Who built this thing? Where did the money come from? Who is going to benefit in the long run? Why is it that what happens there is drip-fed or hushed up or secret? Why all of a sudden, like I said to you earlier, all these new technologies are coming out. CERN, the secrets are getting out about CERN, about opening. When I say secrets, we're talking about whistleblowers. We're talking about people that are claiming portals are being opened, that dimensions are opening. So I read an article the other day that was talking about CERN unlocking parallel Earths. Where is all this coming from? That's what I'm finding the most interesting part at the moment. You asked me at the start of the show what was it again that you said? What was the one topic I wanted to go over? That's the thing that's keeping me awake at night.
Okay.
Is pondering harps old school. Harps nobody cares about harp anymore. Harps
Alex Jones does, but that's about it.
But CERN.
Okay. Well, I don't know the answers.
I don't know them either.
But interesting work being done there. And who benefits? I don't know.
Well, that's what everything comes down to. Who benefits? Who benefits? Nobody's spending billions and billions of dollars to make anything better for the society. Yes, after governments have paid the money for it, they will. And then after the governments have then take that and then they make $1 off it themselves. That's when we get that type of technology. So, I don't know.
We'll have to find out. Ultimately, it will ultimately be revealed. It's just we have to. It's going to come on their terms, not on our terms.
No, and that's just like everything else.
Yeah,
everything else.
So we can accept that, but there are people out there, and there are shows like this one that are trying to get the information out to people because this might get to someone's ears who does know a little bit more about what's going on the inside, and that is a good thing because if they're willing to come forward and say something, then it's served its purpose.
And if they want to contact us, they can do so at Beyond 3D on Facebook
page. You can go to the RWPFM website, etc., and you can get that information to us. And we can also talk to certain people that we know that will be able to maybe do something about things coming down the track. But CERN is a concern, so that's very interesting. That's Clint's awake at night moment.
I don't often wake up. I do sleep like a brick, but the last couple of nights I have been waking up pondering. It's like a stone in my shoe. I can't let it go at this point in time.
For me, I'm not too worried about that. I've seen a few things that tell me that I know why they're doing, in my opinion at least, I know why they're doing what they're doing. It's just a matter of how that information is going to be released. Parallel universes, I think, are quite real as far as I'm concerned, and it just depends on your perspective.
I'll give you my perspective.
Yeah.
I do believe they are very, very real. I do often think to myself, with all those parallel universes, there has to be an alternate me that's having a really awesome time. And there has to be an alternate me that's having a really, really bad time. I just hope that I'm not the one that's having the really bad time. I'd like to think my other me's are really kicking goals and doing awesome. So my alternate me's, if you're hearing this, I love yous. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. There is a lot going on out here, and I know it'll come out. It has to, but it has to be done in such a way where people... It's like this. The hearing that we have, you can hear everything that's going on 1,000 kilometers around you, but if your brain were to process all that information at the same time, it would drive you stark raving mad.
Oh, of course.
Therefore, there are filters.
Look...
And there's a reason for those filters.
You and I are both married. Mm-hmm. We know what selective deafness is all about.
Most men do.
Selective deafness. So we can tune our hearing in and out when we want to. And we do that when we're out and about. You will be in a crowd and you can hear everybody around you, but your own child or your friend, or if you hear them, you can single out their voice, their pitch, their frequency that they're speaking. You can hear it, and you focus in your hearing. That's what we do when we walk around. We focus on what we want to hear and we block out what we don't want to hear. And like you said, yeah, we can hear a long, long way when we're in our prime, not when you're old, like me.
Well, you're not old, neither am I. We have at least 55, 60 years to go.
This flesh suit of mine is breaking down. I do need to jump into another one soon. That'd be nice.
Those parallel universes, the other yous are making that suit up right now.
Fantastic.
So that you'll be able to continue on for at least another 500 years. You're not going to have to worry about that too much. But this is the thing. They're basically trying, in my opinion, they are trying to figure out a way to let people know that there is a heck of a lot more than just this mundane, so to speak, Earth. There are many different Earths, many different points of the evolutionary cycle, and a whole lot going on. And the fact of the matter is, as far as I am concerned, and if you talk to people in esoteric studies, they will say this, yeah, there are a whole lot of yous.
You know, when the English first came to Australia, not personally, I didn't expect you to be here then, but when the English first visited Australia and they encountered Aboriginal society, the experience that those native Australians would have had, if they were aware of what lay beyond their own experiences, they wouldn't be able to process it. It's exactly the same situation that we're in right now. We can't. I mean, unless you reach a level of enlightenment or you have an awareness, your average Joe that's queuing up in McDonald's drive-through, they would not be able to take in what it is, all those other frequencies that are around us and penetrate us, and that information is there, Matt. I know that, you know that.
Yep.
Steve knows that.
Yep.
But yeah, average Joe doesn't. So again, it's a suppression concept.
Yeah, but in that sense, it's a good thing. It's evolution.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to do with evolution, and some people are ready for certain things, and some people aren't. It's like, what is it? It's like a transponder or a transformer. If you have 300 volts coming through something that can only stand 110 volts, what's going to happen? You're going to blow it up.
The flip gets tripped, or the trip gets flipped, or the switch gets tripped.
That's what'll happen. You'll blow it up. It can't be. It cannot handle it. We had that a couple of years back? Some person made a mistake, and all of a sudden, if you were in your house and you looked up, your smoke detectors were smoking, your washing machine there was smoke coming out of it. Why? Too much power. This is exactly what is going on. We as human beings in this iteration have to get to the point where we truly understand the fact that there's a whole lot of things going on multidimensional levels, and it will be revealed to us in time. You said your flesh suit is starting to wear down. What has to happen, therefore? You have to make another one. The real you has to come up with another suit. Ultimately, that's going to happen for you, and you'll be able to continue on a physical plane of existence and continue to evolve that way as well as spiritually. So that is going to happen. So in a sense, all information cannot be revealed to people at the same time. That's why they're always talking about there'll be a mass panic if people know that this exists. At one level, they're correct. That's one level of truth. At the other two levels of truth that there are, they're spot on in doing it that way because they know people have to have a certain amount of understanding before certain information can be revealed to them. It's just like this. If you don't know anything about physics and all of a sudden somebody that does know something in that realm says something absolutely profound, it'll go over your head and under your feet. You're not ready to hear it. if you're ready to hear it, it's like an aha moment. It leads to more of an enlightened state for you. So that's what it really comes down to. What we have to make sure is that government and the military-industrial complex and the financial institutions allow that evolution to happen naturally and don't try to stifle it. I believe at this point in time, it is being stifled. Purposely. They don't want people to evolve. They want everyone to stay the way they are because that way they make more money.
That's why there's fluoride in the water.
Absolutely. Poison in your water, and if you try to tell people about that, what happens?
You're crazy.
Absolutely.
You're crazy.
But the fact of the matter is,
No, you're
it's a fact.
No, I was just saying you're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
No, I wasn't talking about this conversation.
Yes, I'm not crazy.
Hey, clones.
They already have them.
I know. I just hope my clone's having fun wherever he is too. I think it's about it for this week, Matt.
Absolutely. We just wanted to have some fun with you guys and just let you know the kind of things we're thinking about and what keeps Clint up at night and the things that I believe that will allow us to evolve a little bit further. We have some great guests coming up for you in the next few weeks and months that you're going to really enjoy. And we're looking to expand the show as well in ways that we will be able to tell you going into the new year. So that's going to be a lot of fun for us.
3 words.
3 words.
Richard.
C.
Miller.
Mr. Miller. Oh my goodness. Edit will do it again. He's Alan, isn't he?
Alan. Richard Allen Miller.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Okay.
Richard.
So that's 4 words.
Okay. 4 words.
Go for it.
Doctor.
Richard
Allen
Miller.
Well done.
Yeah.
So.
And he knows everything.
I think that might have to be a 10-part show.
At least.
At least.
If you bring up a topic, you're talking 2 hours of him discussing that topic, which is an absolutely fantastic thing for us, and that's one of the guests we'll have coming up on Beyond 3D. So until we meet again, which will be in a couple of weeks,
take care.
Be good to yourselves, be good to others around you, and we will see you when we see you. But as we always say at the end of the show,
just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, so here's the spoiler. Mm-hmm. Do you want one spoiler or like 5?
I want all the ones you've got.
No, do you really?
Look, here's what happened to me. The Empire Strikes Back was about to come out. I was totally looking forward to this movie and the continuation of the shows and the series. A very good childhood friend of mine, who had the unfortune of working in the Bush White House as a speechwriter for a number of years, got on the phone to me, and he had already seen the movie, and he basically said, I was about to go and see the movie the next day, and he basically said, oh yeah, Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. And I went, you know what I called him, and I said, thank you for ruining this movie for me. And I just, that's just the way it was. But ever since then, I don't worry about it anymore. If a person has a spoiler, go for broke as far as I'm concerned. I'm not gonna go, oh my god, and keel over dead.
You know what? I'm absolutely the same, because I spend a lot of time online looking for spoilers, and then being disappointed when it happens on the screen that I wasn't shocked. But it's like my hunger for wanting to know.
I'd rather know now in case you get hit by the proverbial bus or the tornado comes through and takes you out. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I actually do have a background in graphic design. Mm-hmm. And when the very colourful poster came out that has all the main characters on it, I looked at it and I noticed straight away the line work that parallels the character of Kylo Ren with the character of Rey. There's a line that goes right down between them, and he's holding his lightsaber, which blends into the staff that she's holding. Now... Oh,
can you see where I'm going?
Yes, keep going.
Star Wars is basically about the Skywalker family, all the way back down to when Shmi Skywalker had...
The Immaculate Conception.
That was the word I was looking for, but I was laughing still. I was laughing because she had Immaculate Conception with midi-chlorians.
That's it.
Whatever midi-chlorians are supposed to be. Bacteria type stuff. So the Skywalker family is all about Star Wars. So Star Wars is all about Skywalker family, and we know that have featured very heavily.
Yes, that's where you're going.
That's where I'm going. I would not be surprised. When I say spoilers, okay, I'm just going to say it. I would not be surprised if Kylo Ren is Solo's son. I would not be surprised if Rey is daughter. Obviously, Kylo Ren and Rey would be. Expect a death of a very popular character. And I might have already said their name, at the hands of his own son. That's where I'm going at this point in time. There's a very good reason why Luke Skywalker has not featured in any of the trailers at this point in time.
Now, that would be interesting because we've heard a lot of different things in the media these days. What is your take?
I think, look, each one of these classic characters is going to be revealed in a way that everybody's going to get up and cheer in their hearts when they see them on the screen for the first time. You look at Star Wars, for example, A New Hope. So when Beru calls out Luke, he comes walking over the top of the ridge, and the classic theme song plays.
Yes, exactly.
That's his hero moment. Okay, we're going to have hero moments again. That's where Jar Jar Abrams will kick a goal. He'll put those hero moments in to play on your emotional attachment to these characters. That's where he'll get you to love what it is that he's done. So you'll see a hero moment with Han, you'll see a hero moment with Chewie, you'll see a hero moment with Luke, but the hero moment with Luke, I'm throwing it out there, it won't be a hero moment, it'll be a oh my god moment.
We will see, because it's less than a month away.
And when Lucas signed Star Wars over to Disney, there's no way I'd know the privy of the details of the contract and stuff like that. I would speculate that he wouldn't say you can or you can't do this or that with these particular characters. I would say that J.J. Abrams would have had a full palette to play with.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see something somewhere down the track and it's his demise to please fans.
That would be a shame.
I know it would be a shame because my kids love him. My kids love him.
It would be a shame.
And you know what? He doesn't upset me that much. What upsets me is during that whole film. Right. I mean, there are times when Ewan McGregor is sporting a very, very red head of hair, and there are times when he's very peppered and brown. So, the editing wasn't 100%, but I do know when The Phantom Menace came out, they really pushed it as fast as they could.
Right.
But I have noticed in the media and in the retail sector more so that The Force Awakens has been ramped up just like it did when The Empire Strikes Back came out. The retail side of things is just off its head.
Yeah.
I'm loving the fact I can walk around and see stuff. I'm not one of these people that is fanatically snapping things up right, left and centre. I do know people that are doing that because they want to fill their house with Star Wars stuff because they've been starved of it for such a long time. But this episode 7, the beautiful thing is I know that we've got 2 more films to come, haven't we? 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
And they're also releasing a film next year, which, oh boy, I wished I could remember what it was called, which details how the rebellion got hold of the plans to the Death Star. So they're doing a trilogy film every alternate year, and then a fill-in film which goes in between the trilogies. So I know they're doing a Boba Fett one that's supposed to be coming up as well.
Yeah, Han Solo one. Han Solo one as well. Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Star Wars. The other thing, I'll bring this up, and you would know this, Clint. Out of anybody, you would know this next bit. You had to have read these books. Timothy Zahn.
Yes.
Are you disappointed?
Okay, so for what people don't actually get is when Lucas sold his soul and ruined it. When Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, Disney were able to cherry pick what they call canon. So canon is what they consider to be true and to be right and to be current, and it's what they were going to build their history of Star Wars upon. So that was the canon was supposed to be the foundation. So what Disney did was they cherry picked through I think there would have been somewhere around 60 different novels that wonderful writers over the last 20 years had penned and put together, which Star Wars fans bought and read and devoured, and that was our canon. That's been our canon for the last since Return of the Jedi finished. So Disney decided, okay, so we're going to build a history now from Episode 4, A New Hope, and all those awesome books no longer matter. We're going to release brand new books with a brand new back history. And not just back history, these writers also wrote books that took place after Return of the Jedi, not just before A New Hope, but after Return of the Jedi. And there would have been about, I would say at least, it'd take you at least 5 or 6 years to get through them all, wouldn't it, Matt? Easily.
So therefore no Mara Jade.
No. Oh, see, that's the thing. They can still cherry pick. Disney can cherry pick through the history and all those characters that they've got and go, we're going to build new histories and new backstories. And so she could, Mara Jade could very well turn up. But as you also know, Matt, and knowing that you have read a lot of these Star Wars books, the Solos did have twins, which were Jaina and Jason Solo, which is when the characters of Kylo Ren came out and Rey came out, I thought to myself, these have to be the Solo twins. Whether or not Disney's decided to scrap that expanded universe history and then go, well, we're going to give them new names now. Kylo Ren might not actually be his name. His name might still be Jason Solo, and Kylo Ren is a title, just like Anakin Skywalker's title was Darth Vader. So at this point in time, it's very likely that could be his title, not his name. And the fact that Rey's name is Rey, and they haven't said what her surname is, highly leans towards the fact that she's. But from what I do know in this spoiler, that they were separated. One ended up in the hands of the Empire as the Solos were being pursued. So ended up in the hands of the Empire, and one crash landed on the planet Jakku. Now, I don't know the age of the I don't know. I do know what the age was in the expanded universe that Disney has scrapped. I don't know what the age of the are in this film when these situations happen to them. Who's to say Rey's name isn't Jaina Solo and she gave herself that name Rey? Again, we don't know this stuff. It's just speculation.
We'll know soon enough.
We'll know soon enough, so I'm looking forward to that too, Matt.
Yeah, I think that'll be an excellent Christmas present for a lot of people out there watching something like that, and hopefully it doesn't lead to depression.
Oh, look, I know what it is going to lead to: the biggest box office taking
ever
in history.
Of that I am certain.
I can't see anything ever beating it, ever. Nothing.
No, not at all.
Unless it's another Star Wars film.
The hype will die down after the first one. This one is, if you think of what they paid George Lucas, Disney will make that back on this movie. And that, in and of itself, shows you what the world is like.
I'm just waiting for my Star Wars Happy Meal to come through.
Oh, gosh, that again?
That won't be long. Anyway, that's the end of our spoilers for today.